Hello, this is Steph, Spiritual 23, and yes, it's the very next day. I know that. I'm trying to get myself all settled here. Um, Frankly, I felt like I really messed up that video yesterday, and I kind of wanted to make amends and do this right. Um, Last night I got an email from my ex-husband, Matt's father. And I had sent him something that I shared on my Google Plus. It was a bunch of pictures of our son who passed away while he was in the Army. And the Secretary of Defense calls him a hero. He had a funeral in the military, and we gave him a funeral at home. So he had two funerals. Both funerals were jam-packed full of people. It shocked all of us. We had no idea how many people loved our son. And this week was his birthday, and it was so tough, I can't begin to tell you. But we're still here. We lived through it. Another year of his life has gone by, or what would have been his life, let's put it that way. But Lee, my ex-husband and my son's father, thanked me for what I had done, and it was very touching, heart-wrenching, and described the pain that he lives in day after day after day without our son being here. And nobody can truly understand that unless you too have lost children. My grandmother, who lived to be almost 103, told me one time, and it was shortly before her death actually, she was healthy as a rock. It was amazing. Her biggest two problems were she couldn't hear anymore. I literally had to write everything to communicate with her. Sorry about that. And the second thing was that Grandma didn't understand why she lived to be so old. She never understood that. Everyone she knew and loved as a younger woman had passed already. My heart broke for her. It really did. I could see that she was ready to go long before she went. And she was just sitting around, she read. There was no dementia in my grandmother at all. Maybe a slight bit, but just normal older people dementia, but nothing more than that. Nothing like what my mother has right now. She has Alzheimer's. And it's horrible. Just horrible. Although it did do one thing. It took away her anger and her resentment that she had in her life for all of her life. The only funeral, there were two funerals I remember my mother going to. One, because she felt like she had to make an appearance, family duty, as she called it. But yet she didn't go to her own parents' funeral, and she didn't go to her grandfather's funeral. In fact, she went to very few funerals. She did not go to my grandmother's, on my father's side, his mother's funeral. But she went to her grandson's funeral, my son. And I was shocked because my mother had such a difficult time going to funerals. I too had a difficult time going to funerals, but 18 years ago, something wonderful happened to me, and it helped me to deal with death much better. And to know that nothing really dies in this world, nothing. We change. It changes. Energy changes. And that is a physics fact. Talk to any physicist. Now, I'm going to read you some things that are from a holy book. It's not from the normal Bible. It's from a different Bible. And it's Yeshua speaks. Now, Yeshua is actually Jesus. I don't know how many people really knew that whenever I would write it. I haven't written about it in a while. But I need to read this. Yeshua said, "Foxes have their dens and birds have their nests. But the human child has no place to lay his head and rest." Yeshua said, "How miserable is a body that depends on a body, and how miserable is a soul that depends on both." Yeshua said, "The messengers and the prophets will come to you and give you what is yours. You give them what you have and wonder, when will they come and take what is theirs?" Yeshua said, "Why do you wash the outside of the cup? Don't you understand that the one who made the inside also made the outside?" Yeshua spoke to us in ways that were different, very different. In today's world, we'd be scratching our heads going, okay, let me figure this one out. But in his world, nobody scratched their heads to try to figure it out. It was all very clear exactly what he was saying. So in our world today, we have teachers who have interpreted some of this for us, and one of them was Emmett Fox. And I've read a lot of Emmett Fox to you, and I'm going to read more. Now, Yeshua said, "Come to me, for my yoke is easy and my mastery gentle, and you will find rest for yourselves." I want to say that to my mother so badly right now. I want her to let go and go where she needs to go. Be loved by the great master, the great creator who will love her. But my mother can't hear me anymore. Not at all. It's too late. At least it appears to be. But I do have faith in God. So, my prayers are that she will hear me some way, somehow. If I meditate and I pray hard enough, I pray that my mother's soul will hear. Now, they said to him, "Tell us who you are so that we may believe in you." Boy, we sure need a lot of proof, don't we? He said to them, "You examine the face of heaven and earth, but you have not come to know the one who is in your presence, and you do not know how to examine this moment." Not the future, not the past, this moment. How many times have I mentioned that we must learn to live in today, in the right now? And now this Unbelievable. Part human, part God tells us that is precisely what we should be doing. And Yeshua said, "Seek, and you will find." In the past, I did not tell you the things about which you asked me. Now I am willing to tell you, but you do not seek them. Is that what's happened to our world today? Do we not seek these things, these spiritual things? Have we forgotten about them? Even though we go to church on Sundays, what does that really mean? Don't we still seek the truth? Is that what we're really talking about? Seeking the truth. Okay. Do not give what is holy to dogs. They might throw them upon the manure pile. Do not throw pearls to swine. They might make mud of it. These are lessons that we need to pay attention to, especially in our world today. Yeshua said, "One who seeks will find. For one who knocks, it will be opened." So all we need to do is seek and knock. That's all we need to do. Yeshua said, "If you have money, do not lend it at interest, but give it to someone from whom you will not get it back." I'm going to give you some examples of that. I have people that have come to me and said, "Steph, do you have some money that I may borrow? I need this in my life right now. I have 3 children and I'm about ready to have a 4th child and we have no vehicle. I became involved in a terrible relationship and my vehicle was torn apart and I have nothing to be able to go get a job and to take my children where they need to be taken and find a new home for us. So I didn't give her the money, but I bought her a vehicle. Even though I'm not a rich woman, but that's not the point. God provides our needs in every way. And if I were to have refused her, what kind of relative would I have been? I cannot refuse someone who is in great need. And no matter what they end up doing in the future, that's none of my business. They must follow their own path. They must learn what they must learn. I cannot teach anyone anything if they don't want to hear me. Yeshua said the exact same thing. I don't even know what I can teach. Mostly, the best I can do is to teach by example. That is what I believe. But I gave this little young woman what I felt she needed, and she was 1,000-fold happy. And she wanted to pay me back, and I told her no. When I give someone something, I give it to them permanently. I don't expect anything in return. Nothing. I'm going to have to hurry because my little booklet here is about ready to go down. Yeshua said, "The Father's kingdom is like a woman who took a little yeast, hid it in dough, and made large loaves of bread. Whoever has ears should hear." Good advice. Yeshua said, "The Father's kingdom is like a woman who is carrying a jar full of meal. While she was walking along a distant road, the handle of the jar broke, and the meal spilled behind her along the road. She did not know it. She noticed no problem. When she reached her house, she put the jar down and found it empty. Yeshua said, "The Father's kingdom is like a person who wanted to put someone powerful to death. While at home, he drew his sword and thrust it into the wall to find out whether his hand would go in. Then he killed the powerful person." The students said to him, "Your brothers and your mother are standing outside." He said to them, "Those here who do the will of my Father are my brothers and my mother. They will enter my Father's kingdom." They showed Yeshua a gold coin and said to him, "Caesar's people demand taxes from us." He said to them, "Give Caesar the things that are Caesar's. Give God the things that are God's. And give me what is mine." Those who do not hate their father and mother as I do cannot be my students. And those who do not love their father and mother as I do cannot be my students. For my mother gave me falsehood, but my true mother gave me life. I know that's very confusing. And even today, it's a little difficult for me to understand this piece right here. Yeshua said, "Shame on the Pharisees. They are like a dog sleeping in the cattle manger. It does not eat or let the cattle eat." Yeshua said, "Blessings on you if you know where the robbers will enter. So you can wake up, rouse your estate, and arm yourself before they break in." So Yeshua agreed that to defend one's home was okay, was all right. They said to Yeshua, "Come, let us pray today and fast." Yeshua said, "What sin have I committed? Or how have I been undone? When the bridegroom leaves the wedding chamber, then let the people fast and pray." Yeshua said, "Whoever knows knows the Father and the Mother will be called the child of the Lord." Yeshua said, "When you make two into one, you will become human children. When you say mountain move, the mountain will move." Yeshua said, "The kingdom is like a shepherd who had 100 sheep. One of them, the largest, went astray. He left the 99 and looked for the one until he found it. After so much trouble, he said to the sheep, 'I love you more than the 99. And I'm going to read one more, and then we're going to get back to what we can understand better. Yeshua said, "Whoever drinks from my mouth will become like me. I myself shall become that person, and the hidden things will be revealed to that one." Yeah, I'm going to shut this down for a minute. And then I'm going to go to some other readings that I really wanted to read yesterday. And I just felt like I had come too far, I'd said too much, and I was having computer trouble. So I'm doing this on another computer that's set up properly. And I will get the other one fixed, but I put a program on it and I made a terrible mistake doing that. But we can fix those kind of things, and that's the good news. Now, one of my spiritual advisors, one of the things that she taught me, she asked me, "What is the primary purpose Priorities stick with the priorities and the primary purpose. Do not interfere in someone's spiritual growth. Our spiritual growth is our primary purpose. Now, autonomy, acting independently, having the freedom to act independently. Now, Yeshua talked a little bit about that, didn't he? Yeah, I believe that's exactly what he talked a little bit about. God govern should be one of our primary purposes in life. God govern. When I do what is good for me in a God-governing position, I am doing what is best for the whole. And this always takes me back and works in oneness. Only God is governing in my life. Staying out of things in this world that are not in line with principle, divine law is what we're talking about. And constant outside energies are going to be drawn to us who are divinely inspired. Now, you may not know it, but in many ways, I am divinely inspired. I speak to you for no reason other than to tell you things that I know, that I have been taught, and to continue to learn. I have much more to learn. Much more. I am far from understanding everything I've been taught. I need more spiritual advisors. And one of these days, those spiritual advisors that I need will show up. And I have faith in that. I know that will happen. There is no doubt in my mind, and has always happened, just in God's place, in God's world, and in God's time. Now, I have a few more things that are quite interesting. Remember my primary purpose. Getting out of myself will give me my purpose and release me from self. If I am too much into me, then I have an issue with myself. Then I must go to my Creator and beg for assistance in my divine plan for me, for my soul. I must release my human self and depend on what my soul speaks to me and tells me to do. I know that sounds kind of wild and crazy and unheard of, but believe me, it's the truth. And it's a truth that we all need to understand or try to. It's difficult. It's not an easy road, believe me. And when I first started these, I told you, this would not be easy, not by any means. I tried to take it very slowly because I knew that if I started out with this, you would all go, what the heck is she talking about? I don't get any of this stuff. This is nonsense crap. That's what you would have said. But you've been watching my videos for a while, and I trust if you're continuing to watch them, there must be something drawing them to you. I don't think it's my looks. Come on, please. Now, let's talk about meditation. Really. Let's seriously talk about that. I've talked about it before. How many people have actually tried it? How many people have taken a candle and spent 5 minutes in a quiet room with absolutely no noise, stared at the flame of a candle, had a pencil in one hand, paper in the other, just in front of them, but not looking at it, and every single time their mind was not on the flame of that candle, made a mark? How many people have truly done that? Well, if you haven't, you should try it. Because there will come a time where you'll be able to look at a candlelight and you'll go into a state of what we call meditation, and you won't have hardly any lines anymore. The first time you do it, you're going to have a whole paper full of lines, just in 5 minutes. Because your mind wanders to everything. While you're staring at the candle, you're thinking about your kids. And what's Johnny doing outside right now? Or what's Emily doing in her car right now? I know all about that because I did all that. I had to learn how to meditate. And there's a lot of different ways people will tell you to meditate. But this I have found to be the absolute best and easiest to really get there. Now, when you get to the point where you can look at that candle for, say, almost a half an hour and you don't have hardly any lines, you're ready. You're ready to move on. And it may take you 6 months to get to that point. So you have to be vigilant. You have to do it every single day. And then when you get past that point, then you don't need a candle anymore. Because guess what happens when you meditate? You close your eyes and you empty your mind. And guess what happens? You see a light. That's what you see. And you do that as long as your mind and soul and body can handle it. Even if you hurt. And if you do hurt, let me tell you something that happened. You won't feel the pain anymore. You won't feel anything. Because you won't be here. Your soul will be in charge, not you. There's a big difference. And when you see that light, the more you meditate, the longer you meditate, the more time you give it, that light will begin to change. Your life will begin to change. Wonderful things will begin to happen for you. You will be amazed. And that's not to say bad things won't happen either. That's just part of life. That's what we call being in balance. Learning to accept whatever may happen, whatever may come our way. But in that acceptance, try a little meditation. Because it will take you to a new place. A place that you've never been before. Now, meditation will provide this, and I'm going to tell you what it'll provide. It'll provide staying focused, and it will keep my life simple. Simplifying our lives is probably the best thing we can do for ourselves. Complicating them creates chaos. How do I know? Been there, done it. Read my stories. I'm working on part 9 or part 8 right now. I'm going to have it out next week because I'm in a hurry now. Now, there's another part here. Once you master some of this, you have a duty to your fellow man. You have a duty to the other people you know. It's called passing the principle on to others, and that's another primary purpose in your life. Now, here's what the results of doing all this are. 1, unconditional love. Love with absolute tolerance. That means that the man that broke my neck 39 years ago, 40 years ago, actually 41 years ago, I can still love in my heart. I can pray for that man today. I have no bad feelings towards him at all. None. They're gone. It's called unconditional love. We love them regardless. If we take it into the political stream, I still must love my leaders no matter what. Unconditional love demands it of me. It doesn't matter whether I agree with their actions, but them as a human being, I must love. And as you must do also. I may not agree with what they do, their actions, but that doesn't mean I do not have unconditional love as a human being. Now, that's one of the benefits of deep meditation. It will come to you. You won't even realize it. Just suddenly one day all those people that you used to think hurt you or that you were intolerant with, suddenly you won't feel any of that anymore. It'll be gone. 2, rigorous honesty. Oh boy, that's a biggie. You'll find that you are rigorously honest, that you no longer can lie. It's not in your makeup. It's not part of who your Creator wants you to be. Your Creator wants you to be rigorously honest. I read that to you. And if you were paying attention, and if you could understand what the Creator was speaking about, because that was part of the Creator speaking, then you can understand about some of the things I'm telling you now. Now I'm speaking in our language. Rigorous honesty. We don't lie. We don't even tell white lies anymore. Now you have to be careful, because you can't be so rigorously honest that you actually hurt someone. We can't do that. But that was the old Steph. The old Steph would be so rigorously honest that all she would do would bring pain to someone else. And that is not the objective of this step today. I don't want to bring pain to anyone. Nothing but love. Unconditional love. Okay. 3rd, unselfish living and lack of self-seeking. Selfless living. That's a toughie. It really is. It's a toughie. No self-seeking. Yeah, no deciding, let's see, I need another TV. I would like this. I would like that. No. Doing with what you have. Trusting in God. Doing the right thing. Giving to whoever you can give to. Showing your love to other people. Being honorable and respectful, even to those who call you on the phone and you're not happy about it, they're disturbing your peace. Well, it's not right to be mean to them. They're just trying to do a job. Regardless of the fact that you've asked them not to call your home, it doesn't matter. You still have to give honor and respect. You still have to be non-self-seeking. That means letting go of that big old ego. And it's hard. It's so hard. But you have to do it. You really do. To find true happiness within your soul, you will have to do it. Now, the meditation will help you get there. And then number 4, fearless living in the form of faith. Many times I have said I am not afraid of anything. I think if people probably thought, oh, she's kidding, or right, no, I'm not. The last operation I had absolutely no fear. None. I knew I was going to be fine. I wasn't worried about it at all. When they took the rest of my teeth out of my mouth, I had 14 teeth they took out all at once. Imagine that. And they couldn't get the medicine in me to put me out either. I was awake for most of it. 14 teeth. And then they put these hard plastic things inside my mouth and they said, leave them in no matter how painful it is. And oh boy, it was painful. I had stitches up and down. It's amazing what the body gets used to. It's wonderful how well it can heal. But with God's help, anything can be lived with. And you can get through anything without fear by using faith. Many people have said fear and faith can't live in the same place. Well, I don't know if that's exactly true. I don't know that I really agree with that statement at all. We're talking about true faith. True, deep faith. Because how many human beings are truly unafraid? Truly. I say I'm unafraid, and for the most part, I am. But I will admit that when something new physically happens to me, I do go through a momentary feeling of, oh no, not something new. And then I have to let God have it. I have to turn it over. And I have to get my faith going. So you see, Even though I do have great faith, I'm still a human. But I do my best to make that faith work better and better every day. Okay, now number 5. You'll love this. Lack of criticism and lack of judgment. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, is that a tough one? Woo! Especially for me. Okay? I'll be honest with you. I used to be the most judgmental human being walking the earth. And I cannot be that way anymore. I just can't. And it's hard. You know, there was something else that one of my spiritual advisors used to remind me of. Steph, do you still think you have to have the last word? No, I don't. There are people on Google Plus that sometimes they say very cruel things. And sometimes the old Steph wants to scratch back and say, what's your problem, or what is your issue, you know, this kind of thing. Well, maybe it's none of my business, even if it's about me. Maybe it is none of my business. And I need to let it go. So I am. I'm not having the last word. And those long streams of conversation that they have on there, oh God. Oh Lord. I don't want to be in those long things. And when I make a comment in one of them, if it's a political statement, maybe it's a reaction to something. But I'm entitled to do that. I think you'll find that I very rarely have said anything about another country. If you go through all my things that I have published or that I have written about, I don't think you'll find anything about another country, not one thing, because I focus on what I know. I focus on my own country and my own country's issues, not on everybody else's. Those people have to deal with their own countries and their own country's issues. My desire is to focus on my own house. Yes, my country is my house. It's where I live. And I'm not going to run from it like I used to think I would, but I'm not. So I have to, this is a tricky one. Not to criticize, to use no judgment. It's a tricky one. You have to find a balance. You have to set boundaries in order to do this. To be able to still be politically active, to still be wanting a desire to help change your country, your government, but yet you have to remain in certain boundaries while doing so. Not so easy. Okay. Now our primary purpose in life, the true divine primary purpose in life, is one simple thing: giving. and expecting nothing in return. Not one thing. Try it. See if you can do it. Just do it one day at a time. Well, I've enjoyed visiting with you today. I hope this video is a little better than the other one. I had a lot of trouble with it. I used a different computer, and hopefully I can fix that computer today. But I have a document that I've been working on, and I want to finish it. I want to get part 8 out as quickly as I can. One last thing I want y'all, oh, this is a long one. One last thing I want y'all to know is that please remember about the judging. Do not judge the people I love in my life. And my son's father, I loved him with all my heart. I never would have had 2 children with that man if I didn't love him. I want you to keep that in mind. Thank you. Have a blessed day.